Welcome everybody to the Tripadoo Traveler 2023 Caribbean Cruise Review. For this trip, we were on Oasis of the Seas, one of the largest ships in a Royal Caribbean fleet. Let me tell you, it's a beautiful ship. Some facts about it are pretty interesting too. It's 226,836 gross tons. It's 1,187 feet long, 215 feet wide, and it's got 30 feet of draft, with a top speed of 22 knots. And it's so big that it can hold 6,700 total guests, and it has 2,100 crew members. Some other facts about it are that it has 18 total decks with 24 guest elevators. Some interesting other facts is it's got 4 bow thrusters, each having 7,500 horsepower each. Some of the main highlights of Oasis of the Seas is that it has a portside barbecue. It's got a huge panoramic view. There's a music hall. There's a slide called the Ultimate Abyss. There's a water park called the Perfect Storm. It's got dining. It's got bars. It's got tons of things for kids. And it has over 2,800 staterooms. Other amenities include pools, whirlpools, flow riders, zip lines, rock climbing, 7 different neighborhoods, as they call them, a solarium, mini golf, a royal theater, a sports court, conference center, and a bunch of other things. So today we're going to look at a few things that we saw when we were on the ship. Alright everybody, just a quick note on production here. When I went on this trip, I had a GoPro with me, and for whatever reason it wouldn't charge up, so I couldn't use it for taking pictures or making videos or any kind of good audio. So everything that you see after this is basically from my phone, which I know is not the best way to do it, but I didn't want to miss out on recording things that would be cool for everyone to see. So let me apologize for that, and let's get going. Once you're finished with processing and you get through the security checks and cross over the gangway, the first thing you see is the Royal Promenade on Deck 5. It's an amazing sight. Check it out. So here we are at the beginning of our trip. Just entered the ship. You can see this place is huge. It's beautiful. There's so much here. This is just the beginning too. Just take it in and enjoy it. I've never been on this ship before. This is the Oasis of the Seas. I'll get to know it soon. One of the things I liked the most was the view from the top decks. It's just amazing how much you can actually see when you're out there. We were ported in Miami, Florida, and from the top of decks you got to see a whole panorama of what it's like all the way from Miami to Miami Beach, and it was absolutely beautiful. Also, looking around the top of the ship, you get to just see the immense size of it, and it's pretty impressive. Take a look. So here we are at the stern. It's the very back of the ship. There's a slide here. It's very scary. Once you get on the ship, you'll notice that it's pretty much a party everywhere. Especially on the first day, Royal Caribbean tries to make it a really enjoyable experience. There's quite a few places with live music, food, and drink. There's a lot to do, and the atmosphere on the ship is really just one of celebration. We were on the top deck, and we saw a band playing. Check it out. From the 15th deck, looking down and aft, you can see a spot they call Central Park, which is on deck 8, and it's a nice little area with trees and cafes and some restaurants, and it's actually pretty big. Interestingly enough, Further back in the ship, there's another area that has one of those huge chasms looking down into the ship again, and it's a place called the Boardwalk. And this has a couple of sports bars, a couple of eateries like free hot dog stands, and like a 50s type style diner. And then further in the back of the ship, you can see the purple slide. It's called the Ultimate Abyss, and it starts on deck 15 and goes down to deck 5. The mouth of the slide looks like a giant fish, and it's pretty cool. It's a little slow, but it's got a light show inside, so it's actually pretty interesting. Other parts of the top deck have water slides, and some are for kids and some are for adults. There's a couple to choose from, and they're actually pretty fun. The lines can be a little bit long, as you might expect, but they're worth going on. On the top deck, they also have a lot of the other pool amenities. So as you can see from the pictures here, this is one of the main pool sections, and it has beach chairs. It's got wading pools, it's got swimming pools, it's got hot tubs, and a lot of places just relax and take in pretty much everything that's going on. And it's a pretty nice place to just hang out. One of the things that really helps you get a good feel for just how big and how grand the ship is when you're at the elevators. There are double elevators on each side, and they're just so beautiful. They've made them just so elegant and impressive that the pictures don't do them justice, but when you're standing there, it's just such an amazing sight. It really gives you a good sense of just how wonderful the ship is. Here we have one of the elevator shafts. It's crazy high. There's a lot of decks up here. Up to 15 or 16, I think. And all the way down to deck 5 down there. Video doesn't do it justice, but it looks pretty impressive from here. So as I said, there are so many amenities and activities to do on the ship that it keeps you busy for quite some time. And if I talked about all of them, this video would be an hour long. So I'm going to just narrow it down to a couple of simple ones that I thought were really cool and interesting. And the first is going to be a bionic bar, which is basically a robot bartender that takes your drink orders via a computer and makes it for you. The second one is a carousel, which I thought was really fun. I hadn't been on one for a long time, so I went and rode on it. The only thing that I didn't like about it was it didn't have any brass ring to grab. So check those two things out right here. Our first 2 days on the ship were out to sea, but our first port visit was Roatan, Honduras, and I'll talk about that in part 2 of our Caribbean Cruise 2023. Thanks for watching.